You pick up your phone. You did not decide to. Your thumb just moved. You unlock it, scroll for a second, and put it back down. Nothing happened. There was no message, there was no notification, but somehow you had to check. Why? The easy answer is that phones are designed to be addictive. That is true, but it is not the real answer. The real answer is far stranger. The real answer is 2 million years old, and it has nothing to do with screens at all. Picture your ancestor on the savannah. She is not checking a phone. She is checking a bush. Is there fruit on it today? Yesterday there was nothing. The day before, nothing. But maybe today. She does not know, and that not knowing is exactly why she keeps looking. This is the beginning of everything, because your brain was never built to reward you for certainty. It was built to reward you for uncertainty, for the maybe, for the almost. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran an experiment with pigeons. He gave one group of pigeons a food pellet every single time they pressed a lever. Simple, predictable. Then he gave another group of pigeons a pellet only sometimes, at random intervals. Which group pressed the lever more? The random group? Not close. The random group pressed it obsessively long after the food stopped coming altogether. Skinner called this a variable reward schedule. Uncertainty did not weaken the behavior, it supercharged it. Now hold that thought, because your brain runs on the exact same wiring. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz studied dopamine, the chemical you've probably heard linked to pleasure. But Schultz found something that surprised almost everyone. Dopamine does not spike the most when you get a reward. It spikes the most in the moment right before you find out whether you will. Read that again? The peak is not the candy. The peak is reaching into the bag, not knowing if there is any candy left. This is not a flaw in your brain. This is the entire operating system of your brain. And it did not appear because someone in Silicon Valley designed it that way. It appeared because for nearly all of human history, checking was how you survived. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes spent years studying the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer community in Tanzania who foraged much the way humans did for tens of thousands of years. What she documented was a life built entirely around variable reward. You do not know which tree has fruit today. You do not know which burrow has a rabbit in it. You do not know if today is the day the hunt succeeds or the day it fails. So you check and check and check again. The humans who got a small dopamine hit from checking survived. The humans who lost interest after one empty bush did not. Over hundreds of thousands of years, checking behavior was not just useful, it was selected for. It became you. Fast forward to now, you do not forage for fruit. You forage for information. A new post, a new message, a new match, a new headline. The bush has been replaced by a rectangle of glass in your pocket, but your brain cannot tell the difference. It still runs the same ancient program. Is there something there today? And here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Your phone did not have to trick your brain into anything new. It just had to recreate the one condition your brain has always been obsessed with: uncertainty. Every app you use is, whether its designers admit it or not, a bush that might have fruit on it. Pull to refresh. Maybe something, maybe nothing. Check again. Notice what almost never happens. You rarely check your phone and feel satisfied enough to stop checking for the rest of the day. Why would you? Satisfaction was never the reward your brain was chasing. Anticipation was. And anticipation, unlike satisfaction, never runs out on its own. Think about the last time you refreshed an app and there was nothing new. Did you close it? Or did you check again 30 seconds later? Most people check again. That is not weakness. That is 2 million years of foraging instinct doing exactly what it evolved to do. So what do you do with that? You cannot delete 2 million years of evolution, but you can stop blaming yourself for something that was never really a personal failure to begin with. The urge to check is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that your brain is working exactly as designed, in an environment it was never designed for. Here is the deeper twist. The people who study this best are not trying to fight the urge to check. They are trying to change what checking feels like once you notice it happening. Because the moment you recognize the bush for what it is, empty most of the time, occasionally full, you take back a small piece of the automatic response. You go from reacting to choosing, even for a second, even just once. That single second matters more than it seems, because it is the only place a habit that old can actually be interrupted. Not through willpower, through awareness. There is something almost tender in all of this, if you sit with it long enough. That reflex in your thumb, the one that reaches for your phone in the middle of a quiet moment, is not a modern glitch. It is an old survival tool, still running. still trying to keep you fed and safe in a world that no longer asks that of it in the same way. Your ancestor checking the bush was not distracted. She was alive because she checked. Your checking is the same instinct, wearing a different costume. You pick up your phone, you did not decide to. Your thumb just moved. But this time, maybe you notice it. And in that noticing, for just a second, you are not a person addicted to a screen. You are a very old animal, checking a bush that has been empty for 2 million years, finally starting to wonder why.